when you are actually calling that, মানে তোমার যখন আহ, তুমি যে কোনো ওয়েব সার্ভিস কল করছো, তার কানেক্টিভিটির ক্ষেত্রে এটা প্রথম দিন আমরা ডিসকাস করেছিলাম যে তার মধ্যে একটা পার্ট হচ্ছে সিকিউরিটি। এন্ড দ্যাট সিকিউরিটি ইজ লাইক, মানে ইউজার নেম পাসওয়ার্ড দিয়ে আমরা আগে দেখেছি। তো সেটার ক্ষেত্রেও যেটা হয় যে মানে সেটা ইউজ করে তুমি একটা টোকেন জেনারেট করো। Now, after generating that token, what will happen? Ki, that token would be used for your authorization and authentication. So that part, if that token is fixed, তাহলে তো যে কেউ সেই টোকেনটাকেও মানে they can access it. সেই জন্য ইম্পর্টেন্ট পার্ট হচ্ছে যে সেই টোকেনটাকে রিফ্রেশ করা। এবং সেই টোকেন তুমি কখন রিফ্রেশ করবে? অবভিয়াসলি তোমাকে যখন ফোর্স করা হবে যে তুমি প্রিভিয়াস টোকেনটা তোমার এক্সপায়ার করে গেছে বা নতুন টোকেন দিয়ে কাজ করো। সো দ্যাট মিনস যে তোমার সিকিউরিটির পার্টটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি কভার্ড হবে এটা থ্রু দিয়ে, মানে যতটা সিকিউরড অ্যাপ্লিকেশন, মোটামুটি যে কোনো সিকিউরড অ্যাপ্লিকেশনই তোমার ওই খুব ছোট একটা টাইম গ্যাপ থাকে, তারপরে ডিপেন্ডিং আপন মানে সিস্টেম রিকোয়ারমেন্ট তোমার ওই টোকেনটা এক্সপায়ার করে যাবে এবং তারপরে তুমি ইউ উইল ক্রিয়েট দ্য নিউ টোকেন। ওকে, তো দ্যাট ইজ মানে সেই জিনিসটার জন্যই তোমরা এখানে আপাতত ওই জিনিসটা মানে ওইটা ফেস করছো। সো
So, sir,
জাস্ট
creating a new token, it is like that when I send the post request, then access token, URL ID was that already got generated. So I just need to send that request again to generate a new ticket or
নিউ
follow the
টোকেন,
same
ইয়া,
process. Okay,
নিউ টোকেন।
okay.
So with username password, you will just hit the first method. First, how you were doing that, generating that token. You will generate that new token and use that new token in your next call.
Got it.
So this is only just a minute. So this is API basic, which I am sending you right now. So API basic means how many ways we can work with uh, data when we are connecting from external system. So once you go through this, আমরা শুধু REST API টা এখনো অবধি দেখছি। REST API এর আরেকটা পার্ট আজকে দেখাবো। এখনো অবধি আমরা জাস্ট শো করেছি হাউ ইউ ক্যান এক্সপোজ REST API। লাস্ট ক্লাসেও আমরা যে ক্লাসটা লিখেছিলাম, দ্যাট ইজ হাউ উই ক্যান এক্সপোজ, বাট হাউ উই ক্যান কনজিউম মিনস অন্য কোনো অ্যাপ্লিকেশন, দের ইজ সাম আদার অ্যাপ্লিকেশন হুইচ ইজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি exposing some API, and we have to consume that to get their data within Salesforce. So that is the other part. So we will go through those things first, like whatever issues you have, we will look into it, and then we will go to like how we can write a simple class, Apex class to consume API, REST API, right? So whatever issues you are facing, just one by one, you can just we can just discuss. Who want to start?
Sir, you want to tell me that how to get prefix name? The prefix name, like in where is that?
Which one? Can you just share your screen and show me which one you are referring to?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This prefix name, sir. Prefix name. You can how to got. I am just creating here. Like go to here and
prefix name, that is the okay, just give me 1 minute.
I am
uh,
creating from here, sir. Like
can you just write yeah,
this is
this one,
right. This is right
this
approach. I am just creating
this
edit.
is the right approach. Yep.
Okay,
You
okay.
cannot change it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Once you put that namespace, uh, so once you put that, that is the first time setup. Once you have done that, you cannot change it.
Okay.
So this is
So
the right approach, except that what you can do, you can just query it as well. Let me give you the, just give me 1 minute. Let me check the query. This is not working. So programmatically, if you have to uh, get the name namespace prefix, then you can do that query. I have put in the WhatsApp. Also, I'm putting in this chat. So this is using the code, or you can just do that thing, like you can go to that package manager, and there you can find the namespace prefix.
okay.
Okay. What else?
Okay. And sir, like you tell me like 1 minute. Sharing this. And so this one like this argument how to pass in my this argument how to pass in my like in postman how to pass this argument in our link URL.
You are getting the things wrong. Go back to that method.
Yeah.
So first thing is that this method, whatever you are writing here, this is in Apex, right?
Yeah.
So that means you have to pass this, like the initial thing, whatever you are going here, like doing here. This is not the arguments that you are. Those are coming from there. Ideally, you should call this. No, okay, do post, right?
Yeah, post it is not get like I know that this is a object and object I can create a object and
You
insert
can
that.
pass that argument. Let me check that. Just scroll up. Ideally, it should come from that initial. Okay, just let me give you that code.
So we need to call that Apex class with the name of this Apex class, right? And after that, we need to create a JSON path in the body section of.
Right. So it should be the JSON which would be actually giving you this details. So in Postman, you can just go to the, yep, go to body. Let me check that.
Then row, I guess.
Okay, so we
No,
can
that is
just
raw. Raw means that is already there. Look, this is already going through your body. These details. Along with that, the remaining values you can put as key value pair. Okay, the arguments whatever is there, put that as key value pair. Ideally, that should work. Like this, name, then phone, then website.
okay. So as a JSON, right?
It will automatically create JSON when you are doing this. Because go back to Postman,
Yeah.
go to raw. It is not there. Why it is not there? Ideally, the existing things are already should be there. You can put that in. You don't need to create separate JSON. I believe you can just put that when you are using that XWW form encoded. There also you can put that key value pair. Let me check
Oh,
that before. Okay, they are saying that you cannot send it with this encoded. You have to go to raw and then there you have to put that format. Go to body and then raw, and in right side use JSON, application JSON. Here it is text rather than that JSON. Use JSON. Yep. Now put second bracket. Use this. Use this link. Put enter. Here you can just yep.
this format, right?
Yes. This is the format.
Okay. ID2 mean ID is a one, ID2. What is?
That is, it is a separate call. So
Okay,
it
okay.
is not the same arguments whatever you are seeing in your call. So whatever arguments you are seeing there, you can put one after another, like name, website, email, whatever it is, and you can put that colon. But for all the string values, only to show this, that the string values should be within double quotes. If it is numeric value, then it should be without double quotes. That's it.
Okay, sir, I understand. But oh, okay, so that when I mean any argument part that we can we can write a like JSON format, right? In
Right.
the
It would
okay, sir.
actually, your class will actually receive the things in JSON format.
Okay. Okay, sir. I will do that later.
Okay, do that of your own, and if you are facing any issue, we can just discuss that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, anything else? Anyone?
Sir, the username and password flow of this authentication 2.0 is now clear, but I have found something like web service flow. That is important to know that. That is something I found
Web
in the.
service flow. What is web service? Web
I
service is
found that.
in. Can you just show me? I'm not sure what you are referring to.
Mm,
Web service is a web service class.
no, so what I found is like there is two part of auth 2.0. One is username and password flow, and another one is web service flow. That is what I'm asking.
Ideally, that should not be web service flow. That should be the uh, that is the JWT bearer flow, and there are other flows as well.
JWT means JSON.
Yeah, right.
Wait, token.
Not JSON. JWT is Java Web Token.
Okay.
So there are different ways of authentication. So that we will show you. I will show you
Right.
later, because
Sure.
that I am not going to implement all of them. I will just show one after another.
Sure. Okay.
Anyone else? বাকিরা কেউ কিছু করিস নি, তাই তো?
Sir, actually, I have tried following the same steps available in the link, but in some steps, it was not matching with whatever I was doing. So I think I will start from the very beginning ones. Like Trailhead, I have done.
ওকে,
Hmm.
মণিমালা, অনুষ্কা, পায়েল, তমজিৎ।
I didn't faced any issue for the steps that should be done by the connecting and using the username, password, and authentication code flow. For that part, I don't have any issue. But I didn't implemented that code using code, but I tried to explore that put, get, post, and used some of the use cases like
Use
wait.
at least use gate post.
Yes, yes.
And
Gate post I used gate post I used, but yesterday the codes you have showed us like that HTTP post that by that one I didn't try that, but I tried to learn that by seeing your video, but it didn't implemented that. But I implemented by another method. Some of the very easy methods, so that I can query, like I can create records by that way.
okay, okay, okay. Let's move into the other things like authentication flow. I will come back. Before that, what I was about to show you that how we can just create some class which will actually give you like what to do with a class when you are Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I believe now you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
So, Jitendra Jha, I'm not sure whether he is writing blogs anymore or not, but he was a good blogger for Salesforce. So, uh, when we are like, there are like till now, what you have done, you have exposed data, right? You have just done the expose. But when you have to consume, like, no, you have only consumed. Say somebody, there are two parts. Let's go to this. So, uh, till now, what you have done, you have exposed. Now, we will see how we can consume. What is the way to consume data? So here, whatever is written, like this class is actually consuming one Salesforce instance, like something is exposed from other Salesforce instance, and you are just connecting to another Salesforce instance itself. But
Sir, I'm not understand that you can consume. What is that mean? What happened? Like,
uh, till now, what you have done, like you have just exposed data. Exposed means some other system can connect
hmm,
your system, your Salesforce instance, and they can get data, fetch data from there, or they can do some data manipulation. They can insert record, they can update record, and they can see or view records, right?
okay. So
Now,
that's mean till now we are get some data or fetch some data, right?
no, till now you are exposing that data.
Okay.
You are giving access to someone else to look into your data or to
Data.
work
Yeah,
with
yeah.
your data.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Understand.
Now, what we are going to do, we are going to uh, access data from some other system, or for now we will check that for any other Salesforce instance, because you cannot like go into any unknown system and fetch data from there. Nobody is going to allow you. So for now we have, say we have two different Salesforce instances, and you want to consume data from another Salesforce instance in your Salesforce instance. Like you are in your Salesforce instance and you want to fetch data from something else, or you want to manipulate it from there. Okay. So in that situation, what we will do, that is important. So till now you have given the way so that someone can connect.
See the data. Only see the data.
You
Not
have exactly, you have provided the things by which they can do their work, and they can just get data. Before getting the data, they are like authenticating, like from this postman, what you are doing, you are authenticating to connect to your system. So Postman is the external application. It is working as the external application. From that external application, you are just connecting to your instance, and you have given them the way to authorize themselves, and they can get that data. So Postman you is actually fetching that data from your system. Now what you will do, like Postman is a nothing but a simulator, it is not a system, right? So right now you do not have, like আমাদের কাছে এই মুহূর্তে এমন কোনো সিস্টেম নেই যেখানে আমরা কানেক্ট করতে পারি। তো এই যে কোডটা তোমরা এখানে এখন দেখছো, দ্যাট ইজ টু কানেক্ট অ্যানাদার সেলসফোর্স ইনস্ট্যান্স, অ্যানাদার সিস্টেম। বাট if you have to connect anything else, like কোনো AWS সার্ভার আছে, কোনো সার্ভিস নাও বা অন্য যে কোনো মানে এনিথিং ক্যান বি দেয়ার। So for that, what code you have to write so that you can first thing is that you can get the session, create the session ID, and then fetch that data, and then do something like whatever you are getting on top of that, you can manipulate that data. So for that, what we can do? So that is this code is actually doing that part. So first thing is that URL dot get Salesforce base URL dot to external form that will actually give you the instance URL, and then what we are doing, the next string, that is actually service data version and S objects. So you can understand এটা তোমার ওই ওয়ার্কবেঞ্চ অর মানে আমরা যেরকম ভাবে ডিফল্ট ওয়েতে অবজেক্টের স্ট্রাকচার দেখতে পারি বা অবজেক্টের ডেটা তুলতে পারি, it is just like that. So you are actually getting the URL. URL means যে ইউআরএলটা তুমি যখন কোনো এক্সটার্নাল সিস্টেমকে হিট করবে তখন তোমার কি কি দরকার? তোমার ফার্স্ট যেটা দরকার সেটা হচ্ছে যে যেখানে তুমি কানেক্ট করবে তার ইউআরএলটা, রাইট? সো এই এই ইউআরএলটাই এখানে ফর্ম করা হচ্ছে। It will be provided to you. Right now you are forming this URL, but it will be provided to you. So once that is done, then you have to do that. Say you want to fetch data, so that would be a get request, right? তোমরা মানে পোস্টম্যান থেকে get request করেছিলে। Now how you can do that get request? Through code. So for that there is one class called HTTP request. The same thing is there for HTTP response as well. HTTP response বলেও একটা ক্লাস হয়। তো HTTP রিকোয়েস্ট কি করে? HTTP রিকোয়েস্ট মানে ফার্স্ট লাইনে লাইন 5 এ তুমি দেখবে যে রাইট নাও ইউ উইল সি দ্যাট HTTP request is nothing but creating the object of that class with that new instance. Now these arguments or these parameters that will actually give you the specific things like what you want to do. First thing is that HTTP request dot set method. Set method is what you want to do, like get, post, whatever. There are ways to provide arguments as well if you are using this. So you can just use some JSON, pass that JSON to provide the arguments. That method is also there. We will go to this HTTP request class and check what we can do from there. Now this set header. What is set header? Before getting that data, you have to provide the session, and the session like create that session. Okay. So first thing is that authorization OAuth. Whether you are using OAuth flow or not, that would be depending upon this, like what argument you will pass. So here you are passing only two arguments. Set header means first thing is that key, and then the second argument would be the value. So that value is OAuth plus what you are going to use, that user info dot get session ID, what session ID you are providing. So this part, this thing is actually to set that HTTP request. Like when you are doing this, when you are connecting any external system through web service call out, first you need the URL, and then you need to establish this connection, and then you have to you have the endpoints. With those endpoints, you just need to create the details, like whatever you were creating in Postman, like the type of authentication, how you want to authenticate, what is your what should be your token, and
Username, password,
what you
like
are using. So here you are not seeing the username, here you are saying that the type authorization, what type of authorization you are doing, you are using OAuth. Okay, and what it would be? It would be nothing but the bearer. So this syntax will change for anything else. User info.get session ID will not be used. You have to do those things separately and get those things first. Then you can work on this part. But at least you should understand that it is framing your request. How you were doing that previously in Postman, you were giving the link at the top, whether that is get or post, you were selecting that. You were putting the bearer token, right? The
Yes.
bearer and then space, you were putting that token which was getting expired
Getting it. Yeah.
every time, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
why you can put that bearer token? Because you have put the authorization mode as OAuth. Only for OAuth you can provide this bearer. There can be something else if you are using some other method of connecting the system. Okay, and then also you need the endpoint. What is that endpoint? Which you were giving in that after get or post, you were putting some URL there, right? The whole URL. So if that was account, you wanted to just get the account, at that time you were putting that query like select class ID comma name plus from blah 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 blah. So that is one kind of URL. Another kind of URL, when you have created your REST class, you have used some slash something there, say account or some contact, and with that name prefix and all, you were creating that URL which you were hitting. So that was the endpoint. So set endpoint is nothing but putting your endpoint there. And here you can see that REST API URL, what you have created, that is URL.get Salesforce base to external form, whatever the base URL is there, it is like this. With this base URL, you are adding this remaining thing. So it will actually return you the objects, whatever is there. So this is the URL that you are going to hit. For any other system, you will get that as a whole, one instance. Now look into this. What is try catch? You already know. If there is any error, it will go to catch.
Okay.
Exactly. Now you look into this, like you have created your HTTP request, but there is another thing. You were clicking that button send, right? Whether that is get or post or whatever it is, you were clicking that button send. When you were getting those response, before getting that response, you were clicking that send button, right? So that send button thing, that work is happening here with this code. So with this HTTP request, whatever request you have formed, now whether it is get request or post request or patch request or whatever request you are doing there, that is nothing but these are HTTP requests. HTTP means hypertext transfer protocol. That protocol we are using universally. It is a standardized thing by which you can get this. So why it is standardized? Because if Salesforce system is using something and some other system is using some other protocol, then you cannot connect, right? Because for us it is something else, for them it would be something else, then there would not be any handshaking. So the handshaking needs to be done in a way that we can understand each other, like the systems can talk to each other in a common language. So that is that hypertext transfer protocol. Protocol means set of rules which will give you that you have to do this in this way only. So now look at this HTTP send. This send means from Postman, when you are clicking that send button, you at the background, it is actually hitting this thing HTTP send. And whatever request you have already formed, you have framed here, that you will pass. Okay.
So all
And
whole thing are doing like client and server, right, sir? And
right,
server, like client will be send request
right.
and
Client is the
give.
endpoint.
Yeah,
Client
yeah,
is the position from where you are sending request, and server is who is responding to that request.
yeah. So
Okay.
in the response we can like is a database. Then we hit the database and
And the
the
background, there will be some way to hit there. Like, you are not directly hitting the database, you are actually hitting some interface. That
mm,
interface will give you that data by connecting internally to their system. Like,
system.
when you have written that REST class, what you have done, you have written the query in between. Like, when you were putting that git request, you have done the query. So the external system is not accessing your database, you are accessing your database, and you are providing some interface to get that data.
Yeah, yeah, got it.
So always remember this get status code. Before that, when you are sending the request, what you will get, you will get the response, and that is that HTTP response. So HTTP response is a class in Salesforce where your response will be stored as a whole, the whole response. Now, with that response, there will be few things. First is HTTP response get status code. That is a method you can use to get the status code. Always remember, status code 200 is the success. Any other value, probably 201 is also success for something else. This HTTP response status code, what are the status code, what status code we can get, and what is the meaning of that, I will show you. But this status code equals to 200 means your response is actually a valid response. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, so if it is the response, and you are getting the response, as you are getting the response in JSON format, here you can deserialize, you can serialize and deserialize JSON always. So what is that? HTTP response get body. So a response will have two things, one is status code and the body. So the response here you are getting as the body is a JSON. Okay.
Yes.
First thing, what you have hit the endpoint URL from your postman, say, once you hit that, you will get that response. How you are getting that response? You are seeing that in the bottom screen. So whatever you are seeing, that thing actually you will get within your response. That is your HTTP response. And within the body, the whole response will be there. Now that is in JSON format. So JSON format, JSON is again another class in Salesforce. Salesforce has created. You can use that JSON dot deserialize. Untyped is something, I will come to that, but the deserialize thing, remember this word deserialize and serialize. Deserialize means it will read that JSON in object format. Okay, it will create some object format to get that response. And JSON dot serial pretty, that is nothing but beautification of JSON. Beautification means some readable format, otherwise it will come in a single line, like everything, that second bracket and then argument, its value, then comma, then another argument, like another key and its value, everything will come in single line. Okay, so This deserialize is from something which it will actually uh, read that JSON and then it will beautify it with this pretty. Okay. So you can just execute this code, try to execute this code, and you can get the details. So that is the first thing you need to understand what we are writing actually. So what are the steps? First thing is that you should have the URL which you are going to hit. Second thing is that whether it would be gate, post, or whatever it is, how you are going to authenticate, your authentication details should be there. So if it is username and password and you have to get the authentication code, there might be some other code you have to write to get that authentication. That is a separate thing. Or they can just provide you the values. Okay.
Here we are not just we can bearer and that bearer like that we can use the token, right?
Right.
Because the
So
auth,
generating that token is a separate thing altogether. Here we are
yeah,
not discussing about generating token. Whatever token we will generate and what we will get, that we have to use here to frame the request. So the request will have three, four things. First is whether that is get or post or something else. What is the URL and what is your authentication? Okay,
the
authentication. With
same
this,
thing
you
like
will prepare your HTTP request.
yes, sir. Like same thing, like oh, we can provide username, password, like client ID, client E. The same thing we can same thing like we can generate any we
That can be
together
generated through code or that can be generated manually as well.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you have generated that, then only you can write this class, whatever
Yes.
you are saying here.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Once you have created your HTTP request, then you have to send your HTTP request. And once you send that HTTP request, you will receive the HTTP response.
Just
That is the whole flow. And once you receive your response, how you are going to work with that, that is up to you. With this HTTP response.get body, you can just directly manipulate it manually, like with code. You can, if you know that there will be values like account ID, account name, you can, it is a string. You can just get, I mean, you can use the string methods or string functions to get those things. Okay.
okay. Sir.
So you can try this out. First thing, uh, you can just try out with some other, like you can create two different Salesforce instance, and from one instance to another instance, you can try to connect this. But what you have to do, first you have to create one connected app in one org, and then you have to create those authorization. That authorization part you can just you can do using Postman, and then you can try this out. But probably this session ID will not work for now because that authorization, how to authorize it, that we have to check. That would be a separate code for that. Let me check that, and then I will share with you.
Yeah.
Now, yep,
Can you share this link, sir?
I think I have already shared. If I haven't, then no, I haven't. So, the thing is that now this is when you are getting that right response. If you are not getting that right response, then what is that? So this, if your response code status code is not 200, then what will happen? You will get something else, and for that, that this thing, the exception, whatever exception you are getting there, that you can throw it here. It is throw call out exception, and system dot exception is the parent class, as you can remember. So every exception will be caught here. Okay, and with this system dot debug, you can just see what is that response as a whole. As a whole, what response you have got, that you can get it here.
Sorry to ask, what does it mean by throw?
Throw is you are explicitly throwing exception. So exception can happen from your code, like you are dividing something by 0. So that will actually give you arithmetic exception, right? That is because of your some operation you are doing in your code. Or you can directly throw some exception explicitly so that it can go to catch. That is also possible. So in the exception class, when we have discussed that, in that video, you should be getting this. Throw means you are explicitly throwing exception from your code. So your code is not giving you any specific exception, but you are throwing that so that it can go to catch. Okay, so this is the way we should be. Like I have shown this class because this is the simplest class to get to understand what is HTTP request, what is HTTP response. Now let's look into these classes. So this is HTTP request class. This is one example. So here you can see this username password thing. Okay. And you are putting those username password, like the previous one was JW, the bearer one. Like you were using OAuth and then
Directly get the directly put the
the token you were passing.
token.
Here
Yeah,
you are using directly the username password.
yeah.
Okay. And with this username password, you are just setting the header. Whatever authorization header you are using, that would be used. And then the same thing, HTTP send, and you will get the body. Okay. This is the response.get body. Now let's look into these methods. Ideally, you should go through all these methods, and you can also look into these details, whatever is there. So what is set endpoint? Like the URL, what you have to call out actually. Okay. So these are the examples of endpoints. Same way, set body as blob. Blob is the mostly the binary object. Okay. So that is blob. Set header, that will be get key and value. Set method, which HTTP request type you are sending. So what can it be? Delete, get, head, patch, post, put. I have asked you to look into this in Postman previously, because these are the things what you can do with set method. Now you have Set timeout is also something like you can just go through this. I'm not going to. Two string is simple, like whatever you are getting, you are converting that into two string, like in string. So this is the HTTP request. Same way you can have HTTP response.
Sir, here like HTTP header, we are just anything can do. Like we can use the HTTP header. Like HTTP header is cheaper, the general header request is. Yeah.
HTTP header is nothing but when you are writing your HTML,
Yeah.
normal HTML.
Yeah.
Let's try to look into this.
Three type of header, right? One is general header, request and response, and entity header, right? That type of.
Right. Ideally, you should be looking into. Okay, it is not. Why it is not showing? Hey guys, give me 2 minutes. I'm coming back.
Okay.
I have to take this call. Yes, sorry guys. So the thing is that when we are doing with this HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, it has two different parts. One is header, one is body. When you are writing any HTML, in HTML you have that head thing, right? within head you are writing something. So that head is actually evaluated against this HTTP header, and the body, whatever is you are writing in HTML, that is the body part. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me share the screen. So HTTP request and HTTP response. So first thing was that request, what you have done. This is the response. Within response, what we can have, you can say these things. Okay. And when you are receiving the response in, so here it is receiving the response in XML format, but you can receive the receive it in, anyone saying anything?
No, sir. I have just no, sir.
Okay, okay. So whenever you are actually receiving the format, the receiving the response in JSON format, then you have to work with the JSON methods. So this is the JSON class. So JSON class, it does not like, you need to work with JSON for something else as well. Okay, that is not only related to integration, but JSON has its own class and it can have these things like deserialize, serialize, and how that works. Just go through this. You can just create some JSON format of your own and then parse it. Parse means whether that should be deserialized or serialized, how that will work, what will happen. Look into this. Okay, this deserialize, untyped, what is the difference between these two? Okay, serialize, serialize pretty, what is the difference? Okay, you have the sample code here. You can just try this out. Don't use assert equals here. Use system.print. Okay. You have a car class you have created, and you are parsing, like you are deserializing a JSON and you are putting that class name here. So what will happen? It will create those objects. Specifically, it will create those objects. Again, this is a JSON string. Backslash n means new line. Okay. It has created the map and all these things. So go through these two classes, these three classes specifically: HTTP request, HTTP response, and JSON class, the basic methods. I'm not saying like you have to look into this generator class and this parser class for now. For now, just go through this JSON class. Okay, so that you can at least understand few of, like, important part is to understand two methods: deserialize and serialize. And whatever you are looking into this, like serialize and then again another serialize, what it is called, this is method of JSON class, and I have same name but with different argument. what it is called? Method overloading. So here these methods are overloaded. You forgot everything.
Yeah, overloading and overwriting.
Here it is overloading because in same class it is happening.
Yes.
Okay. So again, serialize pretty. So these methods are overloaded so that you can use these things and get the required output from your side. That is important to understand. So understanding JSON is one part, and framing the request and response is another part. Let me show you something. Trailhead should be there. Just give me 1 minute. Apex, what is it? It was a very good trailhead for this. Apex Web Service or Apex REST Callout. Something like that. Let me check that. Apex REST Callout, Apex SOAP Callout, Apex Web Service. Up to date, complete this thing I'm giving you. You have everything here.
Apex integration, Apex REST callout, SOAP callout, and web service.
Send data to a service, test your, and again, another thing, write the test classes. That is very, very important. Understanding how to write test classes is one of the most important part. Okay. So what is mock call out, how you can do that, everything is there. Complete up to Apex REST call out.
Okay. Except Apex web service, right?
No, no, Apex Web Service is at the bottom. That we will go through that later. First, you need to understand what is REST and what is SOAP. So I
Yeah.
thought we will start SOAP today, but anyway, we will do that in next or next to next meeting.
So you can do Apex
So this web
integration.
service thing, whatever you are seeing, you have already gone through that. So REST service you have already completed. Like how you can expose REST service, that you have already complete.
Yes, you
We have
can.
completed in first class,
Hmm.
and the later thing, whatever I am telling you, that is the second item in that list, like Apex integration service. In that, first is Apex integration overview. What is that? Then that Apex REST call out. This call out thing we are looking into right today. what are the prerequisite things, what is required, everything is there along with the code and the mock.
Deserialized. Yeah.
Right. So complete this thing Apex REST call out, because we I have already explained what needs to be done. Second, like next part is that we will go through this SOAP, and then we will go through bulk API. I will tell you, but not in that much detail. But that is also required, but not that much urgent right now. But you have to understand the streaming API. Streaming API is something like
You are not sharing
uh,
the screen.
somebody is saying something.
Yes, you are not sharing the screen.
No, I'm not sharing.
Yes, okay.
I have given the URL in WhatsApp group. Here also I am sending. So you will, Rakesh, you have raised your hand for a long time.
No. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why it is.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so somehow by default it is getting raised for you. Anyway, so the thing is that when we are like this REST and SOAP is two different mechanism to handle integration. There is another mechanism which is called which is more efficient, I would say, and less coding is required. That is when we are using streaming API. What is the concept of streaming API? I am just going to tell you right now. After that, I will like this is a kind of platform service and other things we can do in Salesforce that we will go through later. So streaming API is nothing but here how you are doing it is kind of a point to point connection, right? So you have one instance, you have Salesforce, and say you have SAP, and you are connecting from Salesforce to SAP. Or in other way, uh, you are connecting from SAP to Salesforce. So one is first one was outbound, second one is inbound in terms of Salesforce. But say there are multiple system. Okay, so there are multiple system A, B, C. All three needs to connect to Salesforce, and they just need to get data from Salesforce. Okay, in that scenario, what you will do? Will you like in this conventional way? What you have to do? You have to provide these details and give them connection, and they will ask these details from you like through code, and you can expose that using REST or SOAP. The other way or better efficient way of doing is that you can just create a channel. Okay, any kind of channel you can think of, and you are publishing your details or update or anything in that channel, and all the systems like this system A, system B, system C, they are actually subscribed in that channel. So if they have subscribed, then they can just get the details, and if it is important for them they can pull it up. So that means not every time, it is not kind of a active integration every time you have to call it out. The other way around, that is, you will publish your data and you will forget, like you don't have to bother about that. Whoever has subscribed in that channel, they can look into it, and they can utilize that data according to their need. You can think it like a WhatsApp group. Like there is a WhatsApp group, like your individual connections are there, everybody. But
This is a live data, right, sir? If I work with the live data, that uh, it is possible to that we can use that HTTP REST.
HTTP REST for what?
like we are working, like if I got like I have a I have a something like live data,
right?
like yes. So how it's how can I that fetch, and how can I show in my, like in my org or in my Salesforce org?
So
Like
live, it is a separate discussion. What we were discussing was that the streaming API. I will come back to streaming API later.
oh,
So to
okay,
answer
okay. So that it is different, right? Yeah.
right. So Rakesh, live data means what is live data? Like something which is getting worked upon, or whatever is there in the system right now and that can be worked upon. So obviously integration is for live data. Like you can access the system, you can get that data. So live data means it is not like something, some streaming is not happening right now, or in terms of data, you can like, it is not like streaming any match, any cricket match or football match or something else.
Okay.
So live data means you, when you are looking into these things, so there are records, and if there is any change, you can publish that data with your rest or soap as well. But that is more hectic, that is more I would say intense. Here with streaming API, it is something like, it is a channel, or it is a kind of a like uh, whoever has done the engineering, they can understand. There is one thing called to, like, for the networking thing, there is a concept of channel bus. Channel bus is nothing but there are multiple computers, say, which are actually connected. Okay, there is a LAN connection, local area network connection, and in that local area network connection, what is like all the computers are connected through one WAD. That WAD is called the bus. Okay, and that bus, within that bus, whatever data is coming, all the computers can access that data. So streaming API is having the same concept. So that streaming API is something like that. There is a channel bus. That channel bus is like some data is getting there in that channel bus. Whoever want to look into that, whoever wants to handle that, they can access that data and they can utilize it. So if it is not important for that system, they can ignore it as well. It is
Yeah.
something like, why I was saying, like, it is a kind of WhatsApp, like WhatsApp group. In a group, what you will do, like, you are within that WhatsApp group, someone wants to send any data, they can just send that. Okay, say the admin is the only person who can send data. So admin can send that data. Say there are 50 people in that group. So for whom that is important, like somebody is saying that, say this is a college group or school group, you can think, and there is some issue with a specific route. Okay, say the route is from airport to Barashat. There, say there are different other routes of school buses. So in that group, it is actually informed to those people that whoever are coming from, like, with this bus number something, from airport to Barashat, the bus will start 10 minutes early tomorrow. So whoever is accessing that bus, it is, this information is important for them, so they will look into it. Others can look into it and they can ignore. So almost the same concept is getting used with this streaming API thing. So I am just explaining the concept now, how it is implemented in Salesforce, what it is called. We will come to that later. Okay. So the important part is that what I was trying to tell you, this REST or SOAP API, what we are looking into, we have looked into REST only till now. That is very specific, point to point. Here it is not that kind of specific that I am sending this data to person A or B or C. I am sending a general information, kind of general notification in a channel. Person A, B, C, system X, Y, Z, whoever subscribed in that channel, they can see that data. But if it is important for them, then they will work on it. It is up to them. Now it is not in my hand. I have just sent that data in the channel. That's what I am doing here. So there is a concept, shifting in the concept, like how we were doing that REST thing and how we would be doing in platform API or the streaming API. Okay. So that is that I just wanted to give you the hint. We will go through this in detail, and this is very simple in Salesforce, like how to implement that. It is nothing but like creating a kind of custom object, and you can just insert or update there within that platform, and it will get published to everybody whoever has access to that channel. That's it. So it is nothing like that is the uh, simpler way of handling things. That is quite simple rather than writing code and all these things. So writing code can also be there, but that is very minimal. Very minimal thing you have to do. So first thing we just let's complete this REST part, and then let's complete the SOAP part. Then we will come to this platform API. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So next day, complete the trailhead, this first two modules, and then if you are good, then we will go for the SOAP one.
Okay, sir. If any challenges, then we are
Yeah, we will discuss that.
okay.
Okay.